And today I wanted to talk about Bitcoin's huge bull run, which I think is coming in 2024. There are a number of catalysts for this massive Bitcoin bull run that I expect to see. The first one, it's a big election year in the US and elsewhere. Politicians everywhere will spend a lot, and central bankers will cut rates to juice the economy going into these elections. Election years are actually never years of belt tightening or austerity, and the rates market is already pricing in some huge Fed rate cuts, as we're going to see in a minute. And I don't believe that these rate cuts have been fully priced into assets like stocks or Bitcoin yet. The current Fed funds rate is between 5.25, 5.25, and 5.50, 550 basis points. And if we look at what the Fed futures market is expecting for the end, where this rate is going to be by the end of 2024, December 18th, 2024, we can see that the market is projecting some serious rate cuts, 3 or 4 50 basis point rate cuts that would bring Fed funds down to 350 to 375 or 375 to 400, some bets even as low as 325. So this is definitely heading into the phase of the loosening cycle. More catalysts for a massive Bitcoin bull run in 2024. Of course, the Bitcoin halving is coming in 2024 when the block subsidy, the minor block subsidy, will drop from 6.25 Bitcoin to 3.125 Bitcoin. And that will actually give Bitcoin an annual inflation rate, in other words, supply increase rate less than that of physical gold. People always argue that the halving is priced in. I remember this well from 2020, but it never really is. Unlike every other commodity, higher Bitcoin prices do not bring about a supply increase, and this is important to understand. So, for example, when corn prices spike, everyone plants corn on every inch of their property and farms, thus producing a mega harvest that year and driving prices back down. But higher prices do not change Bitcoin's emission schedule or maximum total supply. Unlike corn, you can't just go out and plant some more Bitcoin plants just because the price has spiked. After the halving, the amount of new Bitcoin mined daily, regardless of price, regardless of Bitcoin's price, will drop from 900 new Bitcoin issued every day to 450 Bitcoin issued every day. This is what the halving is. And most serious hodlers simply won't be selling any Bitcoin at a price less than $1 million per Bitcoin. So there's a real supply shock coming. We hodlers are ruthless. We keep draining the supply away from the market and locking it up in cold storage. That's what you and I have been doing for the past 2 years since the since the bear market started. And now with the halving, there's going to be even less new Bitcoin mined every day for hodlers to take down and for institutions to take down as well. If you want to get an idea of the approximate timing of the halving, it of course depends on what block times are. So block times come in on average every 10 minutes, but they can vary. There is some variance. And so if you are projecting a block time of 9 minutes on average, the halving will come fairly early, April 11th. If its block time is closer to 11 minutes, the halving will be on May 3rd. 10-minute block times on average will get us to April 22nd. So I would say sometime middle of April to end of April is when we would expect to see the halving next year. So more catalysts for a massive Bitcoin bull run in 2024. Of course, the Spot Bitcoin ETFs from BlackRock and others. And I think people always underestimate the power of institutional mandates, restrictions, and legitimacy when it comes to institutional investors. Pensions, hedge funds, other institutional players have very strict mandates that restrict what assets they can hold. Many of them are still not allowed to buy a digital commodity like Bitcoin directly, or are restricted from using certain types of custodians, either explicitly or through company culture. But all of them can hold an ETF like IBTC, which is the expected ticker for BlackRock Spot ETF. All of them could hold an ETF that trades on a regulated U.S. stock exchange like the NASDAQ. This is very similar to the gold ETF, where a lot of institutions were not allowed to actually own physical gold, and there are problems, of course, always with storing gold, but all of them could own GLD. And this was one reason that gold had such a big run after 2005, approximately when that ETF was approved. And I think we're going to see something very similar, but much bigger with the BlackRock and other Spot Bitcoin ETFs. BlackRock entering the space completely legitimizes Bitcoin for traditional finance players, while also destroying the ESG, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt that surrounds Bitcoin, since BlackRock has been one of the main proponents of ESG. So you can't exactly argue at this point that Bitcoin is anti-ESG if you have its biggest proponent putting out an ETF. BlackRock's authority gives your financial advisor cover as well for recommending an allocation to Bitcoin, as well as that instrument to carry out that allocation, which is, of course, the ETF. So the next time your drunken uncle at Thanksgiving, who has his pension managed by BlackRock, tells you that Bitcoin is a quote-unquote scam, you can ask him why his pension provider, BlackRock, is promoting this particular scam, and he probably, like always, will have nothing to say. Institutional investors, financial advisors are all sheep when it comes down to it. They'll be buying and encouraging their clients to buy Bitcoin or the Bitcoin ETFs after discouraging their clients from buying Bitcoin for the first 15 years of its existence. But now they will be getting on board. And as Bitcoin's price appreciates, this will become a self-feeding fire that draws in speculators and pumps Bitcoin's price much higher than you might think it could go. We didn't get a blow-off top in the last cycle, but we did in 2017. So I think we skipped a cycle here. I think this time we will see a blow-off top where the price accelerates markedly near the end of the move before crashing back down. So we could see Bitcoin's price do a face-melting pump at the end of this bull market move, probably sometime in 2025, mid to late 2025, if the cycle repeats. Of course, it doesn't have to repeat. But if it does repeat, we'll get a face-melting rally, and then Bitcoin will crash down again. Maybe it'll crash down to $80,000 from $400,000. Everyone will tell you that Bitcoin is dead again, and we'll have to go through this whole cycle again. Or history may not repeat. We may melt up to $500,000 and beyond and never look back. So either way, that is why we HODL. It would actually be quite tragic to have held on to Bitcoin this long and then sell at what we think is a local top, only to see Bitcoin never come back down again and go on to trade in the millions. So don't try to trade Bitcoin. Try to dollar cost average into it and focus on holding it securely, and focus on mining more fiat, earning fiat, or mining Bitcoin or purchasing Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin. This is the real game, not trying to time the market. Markets are usually micro efficient, but not macro efficient in my experience. I'm talking about the market efficiency hypothesis here. For example, the gold ETF was not priced in. The great financial crisis and the housing bubble collapse was not priced in. The Bitcoin 2016 halving was not priced in. The 2020 halving was not priced in. And I would maintain here that the 2024 halving is also not priced in. The Spot Bitcoin ETFs are not priced in either. If markets were truly smart and efficient and forward-looking, Bitcoin would already be at $1 million per coin. So nothing is priced in yet. We're only at $40,000 or wherever we are. On top of all of these positive catalysts, Bitcoin sentiment today is surprisingly cautious and conservative. People are still licking their wounds from the bear market. People like me who were calling for $200,000 Bitcoin in the last bull run have been chastened and may be less willing to stick our necks out this time, though I am sort of sticking my neck out again foolishly and talking about prices like 400,000, 500,000. Again, these are not price targets. I won't be selling at those prices. I'll continue to hodl, but I think we could get definitely into that realm, and there's a chance we go to $1 million per Bitcoin in 2024 or 2025. It's actually not that far away. And combined with all these positive catalysts, sentiment is markedly less bullish now than it was in 2020. I think American HODL in this tweet captures the sentiment piece perfectly. This is a friend talking to him, supposedly, quote, "Dude, what are you thinking when you say Bitcoin can go to $1 million this cycle? Don't you know you were just wrong? You said 500K last cycle. Why should anyone take you seriously? What makes you think it's going to $1 million? What indicators are you seeing?" This is, of course, the sentiment piece that HODL is pointing to here. So lots of huge positive catalysts plus neutral to bearish sentiment are the recipe for an absolutely face-melting rally for Bitcoin in 2024. Either way, 2024 is going to be another amazing year for Bitcoin and Bitcoiners. The best is yet to come. Dump your ship coins, dump your fiat, and join the winning team while you still can. Bitcoin will always be here, of course, but if you're holding ship coins or fiat, you might not be here. The time is coming when people won't ask how much a Bitcoin costs, but instead they'll ask how can they get their hands on a few sats at any price. And as I've said before on this channel, how do you price a cup of water in a remote desert? This is exactly what Bitcoin is in a world of CBDCs. It's a glass of freedom water when everyone else is drinking CBDC, central bank sewage. So how do you price a cup of water in a remote desert? How do you price it in CBDs or fiat? You don't, because it's priceless. Its price is too high It's limited time on Earth. You have limited time when it comes to interacting with the Bitcoin or crypto space. So how are you going to choose to spend that limited time? This is a really important question and can have far-reaching implications for where you end up in a decade from now. Path number one, shitcoiner, altcoiner. Here's how to spend your day as a shitcoiner. Watch lots of YouTube videos with soy boy open mouth thumbnails, because those are always the ones with the best information like this. Check crypto prices hundreds of times every day. Reverently study crypto/fiat trading charts, but make sure that you never measure long-term performance against BTC, because that might tell you something that could throw into question your decision to become a shitcoiner. Also, as a shitcoiner, every day you should scan the internet for the latest, greatest coin that might pump. Try to get into that coin. Try not to get rugged. Try to get out with a quick profit. Pay a large short-term cap gains tax on that profit, then rinse and repeat. Trust me, this is exactly how billionaires are made. Make sure you also find a guru or online trading advisor who can tell you which crypto to buy, as well as providing you with trading signals as well. If they're hourly trading signals, that's even better, because then you can really be glued to your screen. Make sure to never engage your own brain. Don't ever try to learn how markets work at a deeper level. Jump from rumor to rumor and keep chasing the latest fad. Trust other people to tell you what to do and what to think, because becoming rich actually has nothing whatsoever to do with thinking for yourself or developing real skills. It's all about high-frequency gambling while sitting in your pajamas. And if you get rugged, make sure you also go out and find a quote-unquote online recovery advisor whom you can pay to help you get your coins back. Don't let anyone tell you that almost all Bitcoin and crypto transactions can never be reversed, even though it's true that they cannot be reversed. Enjoy your shitcoinery. It may not last long, but at least you'll get lots of dopamine hits along the way. Now, that's one path you can take. There's a much better path, as you can imagine. But before I cover that, I just ask you, if you're enjoying this video so far, to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Especially subscribing's really important to help me with this channel's reach. Path number two is the path of a Bitcoiner. And if you prefer dopamine hits over hard work, this path is not for you. Here's a day in the life of a Bitcoiner. Never checks the price, buys a chunk of BTC whenever free cash comes in, or does steady dollar cost averaging, where you allocate a fixed US dollar, fixed fiat amount that you buy every week or every month or something like this. A Bitcoiner keeps studying how Bitcoin works, understands the various incentives that protect Bitcoin, understands the differences between proof of work and proof of stake, understands what mining rigs, mining pools, nodes, XPubs, UTXOs are, and there's a lot of technical vocabulary here that I left out that you can learn, understands the basics of public-private key cryptography and what makes it so useful, understands how and why various attacks on Bitcoins could succeed or fail, learns how to set up a Blockstream Jade or Cold Card or other hardware wallet, and learns how to connect this hardware wallet to Sparrow Wallet on a laptop or desktop, as I've talked about on this channel, or even using Nunchuck, which I hope to make a video about, plays around with running a Bitcoin node on a laptop or using Umbrel or Start9. A Bitcoiner understands how recovery seeds and passphrases work, understands the trade-offs between single-sig and multi-sig. A Bitcoiner develops a personalized cold storage solution that works for him and that protects him and his Bitcoin against various attack vectors. A Bitcoiner knows how to wipe a hardware wallet and do a recovery, knows how to take one's Bitcoin anywhere in the world on short notice if necessary, knows how to reconstitute one's holdings in another jurisdiction using just free and open source software. A Bitcoiner knows how to move between the base layer and other layers like Lightning and Liquid. A Bitcoiner knows how to use non-custodial Lightning wallets like Phoenix. A Bitcoiner learns how to run a Lightning node, opens up some channels. A Bitcoiner knows how to buy non-KYC Bitcoin and knows how and when to coin join. So you can see how much there is to learn and how you're completely wasting your time if you're trading alts instead of building real-world skills like this. A Bitcoiner also works hard at a day job earning fiat that can be converted into Bitcoin. A Bitcoiner looks for opportunities to earn Bitcoin directly through a job or a side hustle. A Bitcoiner learns how to verify software releases using GPG, understands how Lightning, splicing, Liquid, Fedimints work, and also a Bitcoiner hopefully spends lots of time outdoors, breathing fresh air, getting some sun, walking, jogging, weight training, lifting heavy things, preparing food at home with good ingredients, and spending time with loved ones while unplugged from social media. And a Bitcoiner tries to spend every day becoming smarter, stronger, and also a better and more pleasant person to be around. If you're looking for a job in the Bitcoin space, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but bitcoinerjobs.com is a great one. And don't think that these jobs are just for devs or highly technical people. I just happen to look up Swan's offerings here, and you can scroll down and see that there's many technical and non-technical jobs as well. Onboarding specialist. These are remote jobs. You just have to be in North or South America. Full-time jobs, and they all pay in Bitcoin, which is pretty cool to get paid directly in Bitcoin. So I'd really urge you, if you're living your life like an unhealthy shitcoiner, I would urge you to stop gambling and start studying. Instead of wasting your time with gambling, with shitcoins, with altcoins, learn how to buy Bitcoin and hold it on a hardware wallet. Learn how to wipe and recover that wallet. Be constantly re-examining and, if necessary, updating your Bitcoin cold storage setup to give yourself more and more security